Welcome back to Mind Your Body. I know I have not been as consistent with publishing episodes as I said I would, but we bought a house, so we've been a little bit busy juggling house and business and podcast, of course. So thank you for your patience and thank you for continuing to come back and listen, even if it's taken me a little bit longer lately to publish episodes. I want you to know that I'm still really active on my website, mindyourbodydmt.com. And even when I'm not publishing podcast episodes, I've got lots of stuff going on. I put out movement intervention videos and educational videos and tutorials. Lately really focused on trauma and pain and physical limitations. So head on over to my website if you want to continue to get really awesome, important information about dance movement therapy and specifically geared towards trauma and pain. So you can also visit my Facebook page where I'm really active. I go live twice a week. I give short, quick, simple tutorials on how to move your body and how to cope with trauma and pain and the ways that it shows up every day. You can search Ulrike Krug Dance Movement Therapist to find me. So today we're going to talk to Dr. Kim D'Eramo, who, even though she has a different approach and she has a different modality, I just love that she comes back to the idea that we've been coming back to this whole time on this podcast, is that our bodies as practitioners, as healers, as therapists, our bodies inform us best of how to work with our clients. So I won't say any more. I'll just let you soak it in and enjoy. This is Mind Your Body, a dance movement therapy perspective on the integration of our emotional, cognitive, physical, and spiritual aspects of our being into one more aware and whole existence. All right, here we are. Dr. Kim D'Eramo, welcome to the podcast, Mind Your Body. Thank you so much for being here. And can you introduce yourself, a little bit about what you do and what it is that we're going to talk about today?
Yes, I love that your podcast is called Mind Your Body because, like I was sharing, I have a program that I called Mind Your Body because it's such an essential thing to remember that the mind-body connection is a part of what's happening physically. So it's great to be here. Was an emergency medicine physician and practiced ER for, full time, and kind of always had this other awareness of what I really wanted to be doing as a doctor. And I'd been trained osteopathically as well. So I had this awareness of the mind-body connection, the body's ability to heal itself. And that's something that was like innate for me from a very young age and what drew me to become a doctor. But it was years to kind of figure out, like, how do I share what this message is of what I know about how to access this inner wisdom to allow the body to heal, to allow us to live our lives fluidly and from like a space of truth and abundance and freedom instead of falling into patterns of struggle or lack. That this is the same thing, this source that we tap into that heals the body is a source of guidance and external resource that can lead us in the unfolding of our lives. So in the last 10 years, I've developed a way to assist people with healing from chronic pain or chronic autoimmune illness, chronic fatigue, things that have been like these conundrums in the conventional medical model where it's like, I don't even know what to do. What is going on here? Maybe it's all in your head. Here's an antidepressant, or, oh, you're just going to have to live in pain for the rest of your life. And here's some narcotic pain medicines or anti-inflammatories, and that's the best we got for you. But then I began to see these patterns. Like, wait a minute, there's something common to all of these patients I'm seeing with fibromyalgia, or these patients I'm seeing with chronic fatigue syndrome, or Epstein-Barr virus, or Lyme. Like, they all fit these profiles that they had in common, which was their like perspective and their way of being and their way of seeing the world and their way of relating to what was happening was the same. And I realized, wow, if we can move out of that perspective and that relationship with the body, we can allow so much more in, and we can allow healing. And so I began to work with people in a very different way to kind of get deeper beneath the surface and assist with releasing all of those energies, and people would heal, like sometimes really, really quickly. And that kind of was the basis for how I practice medicine now, what I do now, and how I help people. And it just opened up a whole world of possibility for me to realize like what's really going on in the body beneath the surface, and how do we access this inner alignment that allows the body to heal. So now I have a totally different kind of medical practice. It's all online. People work with me all over the world, either through Skype or in group programs, or they come out here to Colorado for a live retreat. But it's a way more fluid way of doing what I just innately am best at and what I love to do. And it's been an infinitely more fulfilling career than I had when I started out, and just an amazing journey for me. So I love being able to share with other people like you who are kind of on the same path of uncovering this new way of approaching illness and pain and assisting people with health.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And I definitely resonate with your journey. And I'm really excited to talk to you more about that, because I'm already thinking how does this work? And before we go into some of the things that we want to talk about today, can you explain briefly some core concepts that you work with, like energy, for example? Like, what does that mean in your world, and the source and alignment?
So our body, we know, is physical. We have this physical body, but when we look deeper at what the body is actually made of, the cells are made of molecules, and the molecules are made of atoms, and these atoms aren't actually solid. They're made of these particles, the subatomic particles. And when we look at those, they're not these solid, static, unchanging things. They're constantly in motion, and they have more of like a wave-like than a particle-like behavior. And so they're, these parts of us are energy. They're pure energy. They're at different frequencies, whether they're moving really, really fast or they're moving a little bit slower. That's how things will show up and come into solid form that we see. And so if we're approaching health and illness only at the level of the physical, trying to okay, you got this physical problem, we have to address it with a physical solution, we're really missing on what's the root of what's going on and how we can have the biggest impact. Because we've seen that if we use ways of approaching the body energetically, whether it's mind-body medicine or like homeopathy or emotional release or whatever, when we approach things energetically, it's hundreds of times more powerful than when we do a physical approach, like a medicine or a massage or a movement, or which the movement that so much I'm sure your practitioners are doing is an embodiment of love of some sort. So there is energy encoded in that movement. Mm-hmm. It's not just like, oh, let's mechanically move this way and make it move, or do surgery to remove something, or introduce chemicals to physically manipulate the system. That's all well and good, but it isn't powerful enough for what most people need. They need something at a higher frequency. So when we remember that the body is energy, we can have a far greater impact in what's actually happening, because it's the alignment of energy that creates those patterns of illness that are so stuck, and that we have been able to figure out what's going on. It's the alignment of energy that we're in, which is like powerlessness or anger or frustration or grief or despair, things that we just haven't completed. Those are all energies. And we've seen that the emotional state we're in, whether it's joy and love or it's anger and resentment, creates a chemical shift in the body. And that chemical shift is, of course, physical, and it affects every cell throughout the entire body and can have a positive or a detrimental effect on our health. And so if we look at the energy of those emotions and we allow ourselves to come into harmony with those emotions, we can allow energy to move more fluidly, emotions to move more fluidly through the body. So we're not in those toxic chemical states, and our body can stay in fluidity and stay in health.
Yeah. So how do we identify the emotional energy of different emotions?
the biggest tool that I work with, I call it the instant elevation. And I have a whole program centered around this because I kept going deeper and deeper and deeper with it. Being a very highly intuitive doctor, I was aware of many, many things of what's really going on in the body, or I can immediately in 10 seconds tell if someone's in a stuck pattern and they're not getting better, exactly what's going on, exactly what needs to shift, and then help them assist and facilitate that shift, and people heal. But to be able to break it down in a way that all of us can practice, this is what I came up with years back, and it's called the instant elevation. And so there's these 3 components. And the most important one is the first one, where we become aware of what we're feeling inside ourselves. So to become aware of the energy we're in, most of us don't even have the language for what the heck is energy. And that's just too airy-fairy for me. But if we think about the emotional state we're in, that is a type of energy. And we can access awareness of the energy we're in by connecting with our emotional state. And even that is too abstract for most people because we've been trained to shut down what we feel inside, to not connect with what we feel inside, to not know. So if you ask someone like, well, how are you feeling? Well, I feel like you shouldn't have said that to me. You know, if you're ever in an argument, like, I feel like you're just being a jerk. That's not actually a feeling. So to ask yourself to go deeper and become more aware of what's happening in here is a huge, huge key that I literally could not overemphasize. So the first space is practicing awareness. So if you just close your eyes now and just let yourself be aware of what am I feeling inside my body. So the first way to access this is feeling the physical body. You don't have to know what your emotions are or know what energy or any of that. Like, what am I feeling physically? So just accessing your physical body, move your shoulders around, like relax your neck a little, bring some awareness and attention to different areas of the body. Feel your butt on the seat, feel your feet on the floor, and just kind of, you can move your shoulders around and just let them relax. And then just take a big deep breath. Let everything go. And then bring your awareness all the way down through your chest, through your belly, all the way down to your pelvis and your hips. And then see if you can let your energy reside in your body. So feel your hips, feel your legs. And then you can actually kind of distribute your attention so you're feeling your whole body at the same time. And then become aware of, like, how am I feeling in my body? So you just make like a little meter, like if you have a thermometer and the thermometer goes up to 10 and you feel amazing, or it's all the way down at 1 and you feel absolutely awful. How am I feeling right now? So you're just kind of checking in. It's like this part of the equation, this first step is just like saying, hi body, how are you doing? So the hi body is bring my awareness and attention to my physical body. The physical body is an anchor. It's a portal. It accesses us to the now. It can't live in the future. It can't live in the past. It can't live in all these other people and the projections of what they think of me. It can only live in the now. So it actually is anchoring you into the true reality. So if you just close your eyes and feel like, hey body, bring your awareness to your physical body. And then the how are you doing is that meter, like scale of 1 to 10. Oh, maybe I'm a 6. Maybe I'm a 7. How am I feeling right now? Because who knows? It doesn't matter. Don't make it matter. It's just information. So in this first space, you just stay in neutrality. Here's my number. Okay. And now the second piece, super easy. You just keep your eyes closed. You just see that number. Okay, maybe it's a 2. Now you're going to take 3 breaths, relax the body. And best you can, relax your shoulders. And that allows the breath to come all the way down to the belly. And there are things neurologically that this does. It turns off your sympathetic response of fight or flight, or am I doing it right? Am I not doing it right? Am I breathing right? Oh, I don't know. I'm a 2. That's not good. All that crap. Just, it's okay. Just fluidly falls away and you notice. So let the sort of restorative part of the nervous system turn on, the parasympathetics, by just relaxing the shoulders. Let the breath enter the belly. And let the belly balloon out with the inhale. Let it sink in with the exhale. It's okay for me to connect with my body. Good. So in this place, you just 1 to 3 breaths, or like maybe 3 to 5 breaths if you're really got a lot of intensity going on. And this just lets you move energy. Your body already knows how to do that. So you're just noticing, hey, that's my number. A few fluid breaths, 3 to 5 breaths. And now you just let all that go. Breathing in, the belly expands. Breathing out, the belly relaxes. And sometimes you can actually just check in, and that alone shifts you where you're like, oh, I feel better already. And kind of not making a big deal, not trying to feel better. And just that not trying, just that alone helped me feel more free. So more energy moves and you come up the scale. The third part is where we can use conscious choice. And sometimes people think of like law of attraction, manifestation. I got to attract what I want. And they go into a stress state over it. But all that does is contract your physical body and contract your energy. So you don't invite in what it is you really need. You go into like, oh, I don't feel good. And how do I feel better? I don't feel good. And that creates those stress chemicals, cortisol and histamine and the inflammatory chemicals. And that actually makes your body sick. It blocks your body's healing response. So you instead just consciously choose. And you could say something like, wow, I'm feeling like a 2 and I want to feel like a 10. I want to feel great. Or I'm feeling really anxious and I want to feel free. So if you do have some vocabulary for it, for noticing what that 2 is, oh, I feel so heavy. Maybe just that alone. And I want to feel light. So it's like, oh, what if I could just give myself a break? So you're not making that happen. You're just choosing that you allow it to happen. So if you did know, and really it's about surrender, if you did allow the universe to take over, if you did allow that innate intelligence that created your body to bring you some serenity, would you choose that? So that's sort of the third step. So it's A, B, C. Awareness, little check-in. Hi, body. How you doing? Breathing creates a shift, gets you out of the fight or flight pattern and into more of a serenity so that energy can move. Equilibrium can happen. Harmony can reinstate. And then C, which is choice, consciously choosing to allow health and vitality to come in. We don't heal ourselves, even though I might say like I help people with self-healing. You can't heal yourself because I tried it for like years and it kicked my butt. But you can allow the circumstances that ignite health. You can allow yourself to come into health. So that's my fastest way, because you can do it in 10 seconds, but you can also take 20 minutes to practice it. That's my fastest way I've found to allow this alignment and begin to receive more. Wow.
Yeah, it sounds, for me at that moment, it was really nice and relaxing. And I felt a 7 at first, and then I was starting to feel a lot more calm and relaxed. So for me, it was helpful in this moment. But I also wonder, like, what happens when there isn't that nervous system shift in that second part, and it's like more anxiety provoking to be still.
Yes.
Do you allow room for movement in that? Like, what are the boundaries?
Yes. So the third step, especially for movement people, could be that you choose to move. So for me, fluidity is something like, even if I just think about being more fluid, always brings me into that alignment. It's like, oh, let go of everything I was holding that wasn't fluid. And when I remember, like, Kim, just embrace fluidity. And so for me, if I just like, even if I just move really slowly and take a deep breath and like move my arms fluidly, like there's like this fluid motion, it reminds me to enter into that resonance of fluidity and like just, I'll move my arm and just let it be fluid. So movement accesses us to higher frequency states of being, higher frequency energy. A lot of people are taught to move intensely and like, oh, I'm going to go for a run and that's going to be good for my body, or I'm going to lift weights and I'm going to get a workout and kind of like whip myself into shape and do boot camp. And that creates a lot of problems because that's just one way of moving. It's one frequency. But if we can align with all kinds of other frequencies, it's like feeding and nurturing our body in many different ways. And sometimes it's like years where this one type of movement, this one type of frequency is like the channel that most feeds me. And it's not that maybe I'll never go and do races and run again, but like not this year, or maybe just like not this 6 months. Like I'll kind of be able to tune into, no, this is really going to resource me. I'm going to do slow or do yoga or something that's a different frequency movement. That's really what's nurturing me. But if we're not connected with our body, step 1 and 2, connect with your body, get out of fight or flight. We can't know what that 3 is. And when we do that first step of connecting with our body and moving out of fight or flight through the breathing, we open up to immense amounts of wisdom. We can immediately know if a choice is like, this is going to contribute to me, or this is just going to be a waste of energy. Whether it's, I'm going to see that practitioner, or I'm going to take this medicine, or I'm going to start that treatment protocol, or I'm going to have that surgery, or like whatever it is, if we're dealing with a health challenge, or I'm going to marry this person, or no, I'm going to break up that relationship. We can be in the knowing, even if it's scary to choose it, because we've learned all this stuff that disconnects us. We can be in the knowing, but those first 2 steps are completely essential. If we're trying to skip over that and choose, what do I do? What do I do? But we're still in fight or flight, we're going to chase our tail. We're going to, even if we're trying to like, I got to do the right movement. Okay. How many times do I have to do it? I've got to do it 3 times a day, or 3 times a week. Okay. I'm going to do this movement, but I'm actually choosing it out of protection instead of embracing. It won't get the same result. The most important thing that we can do as practitioners is to embody this ourselves, because there's the mirror neuron effect, right? So everybody we're working with will immediately, even without our asking them to, equilibrate to the frequency that we're in. If I'm in a YouTube video and I'm in my heart, I'm in the space of, I love and embrace myself fully. Now something can flow through me, and I'm not monitoring it or censoring it, or what do they want me to say? I want them to think this, so let me say that. Like, you can't control your energy transmission, but you can allow your natural energy transmission of who you truly are and how much you really care about these people you're working with to come through. And so this is the way we do that. We can't change what our alignment creates. We can just get into the alignment and let it create the beautiful life we're here to have and the healthy body we're here to have. So when I choose to do that, automatically what comes through me, the words and the tonality is different. Everything that comes through is different. And so if someone just watching me on a YouTube video, they will say like, I immediately knew that this is what I needed to do. And like, I've had people pay $15,000, fly across the planet and come here to work with me privately because they just knew as soon as they saw a YouTube video. And I always knew that was possible before, but I didn't understand how to really enter into allowing that. I was too busy trying to make it happen. I was like, I got to run my business and I have this important message and I want to help people. And there was all this urgency to it. And it was because I really cared. But I hadn't yet settled down into it fully myself, or fully enough that I could let more of it come through.
So is this like the technique that you just described? Is that something, just a daily practice that you put into motion, and that's how it happened? Like, tell me more about this.
Yes. The more I connected. So what happens is pain is a big motivator. I started just, first of all, there was debt. I was just like pouring money into my business. And it's like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? Oh, I got to do more. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to take this course. And it's like tens of thousands of dollars later, I'm like, this isn't really working. And there was so much fear that it took me a while to see that. So when I realized like, all right, Kim, you got to meet this fear. You've got to stop doing it that way and let something deeper come through. And for me, like the choice, right? Like I'm aware, oh my God, I'm in pain. This is holy hell. I can't stand what I'm feeling. Okay. That's just A. Doesn't even mean it's real. It's just, that's where I'm residing right now. B, can I breathe through it? And even those 3 breaths, it's like, no, I can't breathe. I have to go do this thing. I have to go. It's like, we got to fix it so we don't feel that, but we're really just suppressing it. So it took a while for me to be willing to really be in the energy and like breathe through it and then allow something higher to emerge. but we'll do it when it's necessary. When we finally realize like, oh my God, there really is nowhere else to go. I have to meet this and I have to be in it and I have to let it move. And I am the only one who can do that. That's when we will choose to embrace this transmutation. We transmute the energy. We don't transform ourselves, improve ourselves, overcome, power through, don't give up, like all that stuff I was trying to do, which definitely creates very specific disease patterns. I've seen women with like Candida, Lyme, or Epstein-Barr, and they all fit a little bit of a different continuum of feeling powerless and then like fighting and achieving and overcoming. It's like these two things. And that is creating a chemical state, a hormonal state, because all those messages that you're conjuring up that you feel, I'm not okay. That is an emotional state, but that's chemistry. It's hormones. And those have a very specific effect, not just in your cells or like whether your immune system is strong and can kill off these pathogens, or your gut biome ends up all messed up and then the Candida and yeast overgrow. But it also determines your DNA expression. And so we've seen scientifically that these chemical states that are derived from the emotional state we're in, and we can feel that, will determine how our genes get turned on or turned off, and what genes get expressed, and whether we have a disease or we don't ever have that disease. So can I let myself play at that level and feel like what's beneath the surface? Most people are like living here up. I'm fine. Everything's good. Yeah, I'm okay. And underneath, it's like the legs are paddling. I got to achieve. I got to keep going. I got to push it through. Be positive. I'm positive. And it's not sustainable. It's not real. It's not the truth of what's really happening in here. So what's actually happening, can I just meet that? Wow, I am in so much pain. And I breathe in and I breathe out. Or especially like for me with fear. Oh my God, I'm scared to death. Things aren't going to be okay, or I'm not doing a good enough job. I'm not enough. And I breathe in. That was the hardest one for me to just sit with. Like it was almost impossible. And I breathe out. And I allow something in. And so something new can emerge. And that's really how we transmute these energies of, oh my God, I believe I'm not enough. So how do I change my beliefs? And like, oh, Kim, can you help me change these limiting beliefs? Because I have all these limiting beliefs from this experience or this memory, this trauma. And we don't actually need to change our limiting beliefs. We can allow, like I said, we allow ourselves to emerge into something else, and that gets transmuted. And what happens is like our brain creates new activity, new patterns, like the actual neurons in our brain connect in a totally different way. We have a new brain. We have a new, all of our thought, everything that's happening. It's a whole new system that gets created for us. And it's a beautiful process of life.
Yeah.
So that's like more tapping into that and way less of doing what I had to like kind of heal from this autoimmune illness. And I was trying to heal myself. And I worked my butt off. It will never get us anywhere. It didn't work. But
the essence
this,
of what you're saying,
just letting it in a little bit, it let everything heal.
Like meeting yourself where you're at and being closer to your truth. Like in essence is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So
because how you operate is different from maybe all the people that you were raised around, or all the people you think are like the normal people. It's not really true. You'll find your tribe. But like for me growing up in Boston, and it was this total conventional system, there weren't a lot of people living beneath the surface or who could acknowledge what was really happening within their own body. And then being so intuitive, like I was aware of everything that was happening within their body. And it was like very confusing. What's going on here? What the heck is wrong with me? And that's not the truth. There's nothing wrong with me. Even if I'm sick. And it's a hard thing to understand, like, wait, certainly there's something wrong with me. I'm in chronic pain. I am feeling so fatigued, I can't get up. But I had to begin to rectify that and realize, like, wait, what's right about this that I'm not getting? What's the message from my body about what I'm ready to let go of so that I can be at health?
Right. Yeah, this is such important stuff that you're bringing up. And I definitely resonate with the work that you're doing in terms of like my personal journey, starting a business, and also how I help my clients as well. Is just like tuning in and just starting to get familiar and aware and expanding all the ways that we can respond to that. Like there is no right or wrong. It's just like, when is it helpful for me to respond with this response and with that response? And like, there are so many possibilities. So yeah, it doesn't have to be one way or the other. Like you said, like it doesn't have to be, I'm going to run a marathon or I'm a failure kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. It's more like a moment to moment guidance of what that prescription is, instead of like what the book tells you or what the doctor tells you or what society tells you is the good thing. These are good things. These are the bad things. And like, just follow that and you'll be good. But for so many of us, we're so multidimensional that like none of that really applies. We have to have a moment to moment knowing in order to guide our creation and our expression. And especially when we're working with others, because it can bring so much up for us that maybe we haven't met and we haven't cleared. And how can I assist you in moving through your grief if I haven't fully met mine? It's not possible. And in medicine, you know, working in the clinic as a doctor, that happened so many times where I was like, whoa, I have to go deeper. I really want to stand and be the container, be the space that invites this person into their healing. I need to expand who I am and what I'm willing to be. And so now I can have like a 10-minute Skype session with a person, and like it transmutes everything they're experiencing. Like it's that powerful. And I wanted to choose that. I knew like, yes, I can be that. And so I had my own sort of life journey that brought me there. It wasn't easy. It was really hard, but it was so all what I wanted. So much of it was giving me exactly what I most needed to be who I really am. And that, you know, assisting others is such a beautiful calling, but you have to remember that there's really one person you're here to be here for, and it's yourself. But if you can be fully present for yourself, that is how you assist another. That is the most important gift you can give another.
Yes, absolutely. And this is some of, or a lot of the stuff that you touch up on in your program, right? So you want to tell us more about that? And
so I created, I have like a lot of the programs I created online so people could kind of move more into this work and have the video transmission. And I've had a lot of people, even just from my book, The Mind Body Toolkit, will say like, I didn't even need to do anything more. Like this assisted me in transmuting all kinds of things. I'm not in pain anymore. But I also, a lot of people want to work more in depth and move more and more and more. And so I created a program called Be the Medicine. And it's for anyone who is wanting to experience that expansion in themselves, but who's really allowing that to come through to assist others, whether it's like as a movement practitioner, as a Reiki healer, as a doctor, as a nurse, as a massage therapist, a life coach, like whatever you want to call it. It's a transmission of energy where the embodiment of who you are or what you know or what you're doing is assisting someone else in coming into health. And the way that always works, like, because you can do something to them and maybe they feel better temporarily, but then they got to come back. If we're actually inviting healing, it's a transmission of consciousness. And I had to learn, like, how can I let this be so fluid that it can happen on the other side of the world on a Skype session? I don't even have to be physically in the same room. And because I knew that was possible for me, I kept asking what is required for me to allow that. And it's like it taught me. I know how to do this. I just know, and it's really easy. And I can teach people. But in the Be the Medicine program, it's more about assisting you with your own alignment, your own interconnection, your own accessing of wisdom, because that's infinite. So I could teach you like, oh, if you do this, this, and this, you're going to feel better. And you might have some kind of temporary thing, but if I can teach you to connect with the source that created you, you have an infinite gift. You have an infinite access to like more and more and more. It's the greatest thing we can learn. And so through the program, we work together. It's a group. There is an online portion of it where there are modules that help you begin to, how do I use this for my body? How do I use this for my patients or clients? How do I use this to expand the model of business I'm in? Because I know like sometimes the business just needs to be way more expansive. When I was in my osteopathic practice, it was like, fix my hip, fix my knee, fix my migraine headaches. And I was showing up to like revolutionize your life. Here's the change everything. And it was coming through this channel of like, fix my hip, fix my knee. And I was like starving. I'm like, oh, this is not doing it for me. What would it take for me to expand what I'm doing and invite others into that experience? Because I know there's people who are ready to experience that. And I changed everything about how I thought it needed to be done. And sometimes we don't even know how to do that. So when I work with people, I can see immediately like, boom, let's change your whole model. Some people are still doing the like hours for dollars. Like I'm going to see you and for 1 hour, it's going to cost, maybe it's $100. But like, wait a minute, what are you actually creating in that 1 hour? What's the result? And so if we can connect with what it is I'm inviting that person into and assisting them with in that time, how could I do that in a way that's totally more fluid? So if I do spend time with them, we go like 10 degrees beyond what that thing was. And so creating ways, like structures that do that for you. It's so easy. And that's kind of one of my unique abilities. It's I can immediately look in someone's business and structure and immediately expand it into something that works way, way better for them and delivers way, way more for the people they're working with. The most important part about the Be the Medicine is that you will realize that your embodiment is what invites them to that change and creates it. But then it assists you in that alignment. How do I be this person so that that result happens? How do I align with that? What is it within me? What's the technology in my body? And it has a lot to do with the heart-brain connection. There are cells in the heart that are like a mini brain that sense, that transmit and put out energy and signals to others, and that allow transmutation, major shift in energy for you and for them, so that you heal. The more you assist others, the more you heal. That's the real thing that's so important, is like we're all emerging into a whole new paradigm. So instead of like the depleted doctor and the patient who's like chronically ill, but maybe feeling temporarily better once in a while, but not really, both are depleted. And into a transmission where the more I assist this other person, the more I come into my own wholeness and vitality. So it's an invitation, and it's completely different, but it allows it to be effortless for you. So it's basically a way that I work with people over 6 months in the group, and it's personal assistance too, because we'll be on group calls together and really get into like, what is the energy they're residing in and what does it take for them to release that so that they're free from those traumas or memories or beliefs or patterns, and like energy can move really fast, especially when we like get in the session and call it out. And people are so willing when they come to work like this, they are very ready. They're willing. It's like, yes, 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 yes. And so they can allow this energy to move really quickly and receive so much more. So that's kind of how I've created the way I do my work now, is like do these group sessions, and there's work that's online that people will watch. And then I'll also do like right now some private work where I look at their business structures or their website, or like even the images and the colors, and like so much is like, how can you just let this be the true expression of you? You don't even know why you chose that image. You don't even know why you chose the colors, but you allowed yourself to choose from a deeper space of yourself. And it's amazing how that will speak to the exact people that you're here to serve, that they will just know. And that's how we choose. Like, we don't know we chose like, oh, I really liked the symbol on your website. No, it just something lights up when we see that imagery. It does something to our body. Or like, I live up here in the mountains, and we see the mountains. There's like a harmony there that makes your body like, ah. It does something. You feel that. And so when we feel more inspired, we will move toward that which we're ready to choose. So it allows it to be really fluid, in that you can be an invitation for those you're here to assist, instead of depleting yourself trying to attract it or make it happen or do more marketing, or like whatever we think we're supposed to do. It can be so much easier than that when we come into this alignment. So that's what the program is for, is to assist that and create that and expand you into that whole new possibility and begin experiencing it in your life.
That sounds great. Sounds great. Can you share the link? We'll
yes, so we made a link for you. Mm-hmm. That's drkimd.com /
Orit.
Orit.
O-R-I-T.
I said it wrong before, but I love the way your name sounds. drkimd.com / Orit. O-R-I-T. And that will bring them to the page that explains more about the program and how it works and how they can register. Yeah, I don't know if you have questions. You want me to get into that, or people can find me at drkimd.com. But through this link, they'll find more information on the program. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of excited to collaborate with you because of the people you've connected with and what you're bringing to them and creating with them, and how important it is that we are assisting people from the space of love, not from the space of fear or frustration. And that like we've allowed ourselves to release those things for ourselves, because even just when someone steps into the presence of you and come to work with you, it's the transmission is there immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. And this comes at such a good time for me, because as much as I know all of these things and I help and I guide my clients with the same concepts and ideas, like it can be so hard to practice it myself. And like a lot of the things that you were talking about is I've been struggling with recently, of like the more I try to get into strategy and the do's and the don'ts and all that, the further I get away from myself. And the more that I come back to myself and my truth, like the more that I just feel like that I'm manifesting the, you know, what it is that is true to me and what it is that I'm looking for and wanting to help other people. So I wish that I knew about your program like a year ago. It sounds amazing and super helpful, and yeah, like I'm going to go look at it.
Yeah. It took me years and years before I ever really was willing to settle into this alignment fully. So a year ago is nothing. You're right in time.
True. And I can see how much like your work or maybe like lack of work, or more ability to like make it flow is really paid off. Like I see you all over YouTube and I know you have a big following, so that's amazing.
And it's funny because I used to really want that, and it was like, oh, I gotta have that. How do I do it? And nothing happened. And it was only after, and it wasn't like nothing happened. There was still some beautiful work. I mean, my work was always very beautiful. A lot of beautiful things would come through, but it wasn't what it was here to be. And so it really wasn't until I was willing to meet all these parts of me and just be in the stillness with them that I could allow this greater thing to come through. And then it created way more than it was effortless, completely effortless. And, you know, I want to also say, like, a lot of times people think like, oh, if I just breathe and sit there and go into the stillness, well, how long do I just sit there on the couch? And it's not that everything gets created and you just sit on the couch. It's that everything gets created when you're in that state of harmony. But that state of harmony is going to inspire you to move, like, especially for movement experts. Like, it's going to inspire you to move or to share or to speak or to make a video or to make a program or to fly across the planet or like whatever. But you'll have what you need, and it will always be fluid, not like where I was years ago, like trying to, chip away and make it happen. And it was depleting. Or like, I gotta help these people. Why won't they just listen? Why won't they just do what I'm asking them? So many practitioners I've worked with have expressed that. I've had this great thing. I just can't get people to listen. And it's never them. It's always a reflection of where you're residing. So it did create way more for me. And I don't actually even notice those things anymore. Like, I thought once I have money, okay, like all this money coming in, or once I have people who really appreciate or that whatever. Like that's what's going to make me finally feel whole and fulfilled. And it's not ever.
It's how you
the
get
wholeness
there.
and fulfillment comes from my alignment. I have it every moment of every single day, unconditionally. And yes, it creates all these amazing things. And those are like the cherry on top of the cake. It's fun to have that. And I love, having people will send messages and email and be like, I can't explain how much. You can't even know how much this has meant to me that I did your program, or even just a YouTube video. I watch your video and I don't have pain. I can't begin to express how much this means to me and how grateful I am. And that's like, that's the most awesome thing in the world. But that used to be like, I needed it because I so was in the I'm not enough and creating from I'm not enough. So like, it just limited what got created. And this is free. It's for everyone. And so, say yes to whatever assists your alignment. And if it's something like this, or like just tuning into what I'm doing, that's, on my channel, or coming into a program, or flying out and having a retreat, like whatever, because life will always bring you the resources you need to move into that expansion. Always. So let yourself say yes to what really contributes to you.
Thank you.
You're so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I love that. That was a great ending. Perfect. All right. Well, this was so valuable. And so I'm going to soak this up and process it, and can't wait to share with everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can just leave people also with, remember it's in you. Take one breath. And anytime there's struggle, challenge, feel what I feel. I breathe in and I breathe out, and I consciously align with something higher. That's enough.